Welcome back, mate.
That's it. We're back. Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's been a while.
It's been 3 weeks. We need to move on straight away because it's been such a big 3 weeks in Supercoach.
There's a lot happening.
There's been a lot happening. A lot of injuries, and boy, oh boy, we've got a lot to cover tonight in a very short amount of time. So we'll get straight into it. What's everyone talking about today? Adam Goods.
Adam Goods.
Injured.
Done a quad out for 6 weeks.
A quad out for 6 weeks, so everyone's going to trade him.
Yeah, I would have thought.
You would think so.
I would advise to trade him.
Maybe 99% of people with him will trade him. And geez, what are we going to do with him, mate? Because he is a dual position player, or a DPP, or an MPP, I think sometimes they call it. Right. Multi-position, maybe.
Which is good to have. It's been handy. I've used that this year, so it's handy. So it's going to hurt. Now, there's a couple of options, I reckon. And look, the good thing is I'm pretty sure he's the most expensive forward in the game. So, which basically means you've got the pick of any forward you like to direct swap, but it's also a good opportunity to maybe raise a little bit of cash with the trade.
Absolutely.
I'm going to give you a couple of options, and look, it's not really rocket science.
So you've got midfield options and forward options.
Exactly, so I'll give you both. So forward, I reckon Steel Side Bottom's the number one. That's probably who
you haven't got him, absolutely.
And I think that might raise you an extra 40 grand cash. Steel Side Bottom's averaging 105. It's about the same as Goods. So that's the big one I'd be looking at. Plus he's got the dual position as well. So that's
fantastic.
You can always slip Buddy Franklin into your side. I think he's got the highest averages in the forward, so if you haven't got him, he's a good one to get onto. Patrick Dangerfield, realising his potential. I
should have got him. I haven't got him, but I'll have to try and squeeze him in the midfield as well. So you can do that. And
one for a little bit of value, Matthew Pavlich had 90 points in the last quarter on the weekend, which is huge.
He got 148, but Ross Lyon's style of play, I don't know about Pavlich yet. I'm not sure. I mean, he's lucky to get all those points in the last quarter because he's pretty much won, and he won the game against Geelong right at the end of that last kick and got a massive amount of points. So, but good value for money and scoring well.
And in the midfielders, look, you've got a massive choice, really. I'm just going to run through some quick ones that are having good seasons. You make your own call. There's a lot of choice with him. If you want to trade him as midfielder, Scotty Selwood having a belter of a season. Sam Mitchell, always consistent. Rory Sloane, a breakout year. And still pretty cheap, so he might be a good one. Cade Simpson, the bloke who never plays or never has an opponent.
Never misses a game.
Never has an opponent.
Yep.
And Daniel Cross as well from the Bulldogs. He's pretty good value. And he just churns them out. He does. He's very consistent.
Gets the hard ball.
So there are your good options. Now, there is another option, and it's not trading him yet.
The other option is there comes a time when there's some cheapies and some rookies that are on the bubble, as we call it. Which means they've played 2 games and their value's just about to go up. Kyle Horsley, which people started trading in already. We had a look at Supercoach Gold this morning, and people got rid of Magna and straight in with Horsley to raise some cash. So what you can do, just before you push the button on Goods, just have a look at Taylor Adams and Kyle Horsley.
That's right, because if you don't get them this week, their prices are going to skyrocket, and you probably won't get them for the rest of the year. So now's the time to do it. And if you can carry Goodsy for 1 week, just one, have a look at who you're playing in your league, because that's pretty important.
It's a good idea.
To see
especially
if
you reckon you can win that game, or you can afford to drop a game. It's about the overall season, so you want to peak in the finals, obviously, and make them, more importantly. But if you can do with Goods on the bench for a week, just consider that in your options. If we've got a couple of guys on Facebook who are in the top 1,000, they're probably going to look at trading him out and get the points going, which is incredible. That'd be a good position to be in. But Horsley and Adams won't come along again at those prices, so maybe jump on board.
Have a think about that.
There's also a risk with that as well. Adams might get rotated through the GWS policy, and as you said earlier, mate, before the show when we were discussing our notes for
the green room,
30 seconds of preparation that we're putting is Horsley may be affected by Riscatelli and Ablett coming back.
Exactly.
But you can always reverse trades and do all those sort of things and have a look and see who gets named. But consider those, because you might be able to just sit Goods on your bench and just about 400 grand or whatever you can make, 350 grand in the bank, play it through this week and then have a look at it. The other thing too is to consider whoever you get in for Goods might get injured. So just be careful.
That's the luck of the draw.
So you could easily get in Chapman, for example, and he goes in and does a hammy or something like that, and then you're in all sorts of trouble with your trades and he's lost money. So I think the good thing about Goods, pardon the pun, is that he injured himself right at the end of the game.
Exactly.
So he held his value and he still got good points. So people, although it's a bit of a pain to have him out for 6 weeks, probably lucky in that respect.
Exactly. Righto. Now we're on to the rookies, and this is a big question that's been coming up on Facebook week in, week out, is about the rookies. Who do I bring in? So we're going to run through a few that you should be looking at. Even though there's a lot of rookies playing, there's not a lot that you really will be looking to get in your team yet, but there's a few that it's about time. And we just mentioned in the last segment, Kyle Horsley and Taylor Adams are two of the biggest of the year. We just briefly spoke about their job security, so that's going to be your question, but they're going to have massive price rises. If you can get them both in your team this week, certainly you should be doing it. Now, another one we spoke about in pre-season, a mature age rookie from Fremantle, Lee Spur, played his first game and looked okay. So he's still got one more game till he's played two. So have a look at him this week and see how he goes. Sam Reid from the GWS has played a couple. Not a huge average, but someone just to look at. Bloke who played his first game for GWS on the weekend, Liam Sumner. Scored 92 points.
He did very well.
So not for this week, he's for next week one. So he's a goodie to look at for next week in your midfield. And another bloke who played his first game for St Kilda, so he's another one for next week if he plays this week, is Ahmed Saad.
And
the bloke we firstly dubbed the Wonder Soap
boy. And well pronounced too.
Others may have copied it.
Now the thing with Saad is that if he keeps playing and they start giving him more game time, that may put pressure on Malera. So if you've got Malera in your team, you might need to have a look at downgrading him to a cheapie.
Malera to Saad's fine. And
I could be down Malera to Saad. Yeah, exactly right.
I think he can play. He was only a sub on the weekend, so watch for his job security, but he's great. Now,
so some of the questions have been around rookies, haven't they?
The big question is, when do I upgrade? Or when do I downgrade? When do you pull the trigger, Chris?
Well, you almost get that gut feeling, don't you, when you just know that the time is right. I mean, Magna will be traded out by a lot of people this week. Is the time right? Well, maybe he might turn around. If you trade him out this week, he might get 110. I mean, have a look at Devon Smith. He was right for everyone to go. His break-even had risen above his average, which means he was almost going to start losing money, and he pulled out 111 points.
Sat on my bench.
And either he was on the bench, or most people probably had traded him out last week because they'd pretty much had enough and knew that his price had stopped rising. So you got to be careful. You know the time is right, and if they're up around that 250, 300 mark, you know you're getting close.
What you were saying also is earlier about who you were going to bring in.
So you need to know who you're getting as well. So if I want to get Pendlebury and he's 630 grand, I need to know when the time is right for me to cash in some of the rookies. So I need to know that I need Shield to be 300 grand, for example. So that might be at one more week. Or the time might be right now. Pendlebury's going to go up maybe by 30 grand. I don't know if that's right or not, but say 20 or 30 grand this week if he has a pretty good game. That's going to leave me in trouble if I haven't traded him in this week. So you've got to be careful.
It's a week-by-week thing, isn't it?
Exactly right. So you have to know who you want. You should have a list by now of who you want to downgrade to, who's sort of coming up when their 2 games is ideal. But there's some other guys down the track who you might want to get in as well, and we can talk a bit about those later. But you not only do you need to know who you want to get in your team as a premium, but you also need to know that anyone you trade in now, because people are going to start running out of trades with all these injuries, it's not going to be like last year where you could just keep chipping away at it. People have probably traded a bit already. Now, these rookies that you get in now, they're probably going to be on your list till the end of the year.
Which comes to my point, was a lot of people maybe trading out a Magna or someone like that.
Yep.
Maybe not. I would be looking at perhaps keeping a James Magna because he's going to be a fantastic player to be sitting on your bench rather than bringing in some rookie who might be gone in 6 weeks.
Exactly.
So consider keeping your really good rookies for as long as you can because they're going to sit on the bench, and when these injuries come, instead of having to make a quick knee-jerk trade, you can just flick a Magna on. Whereas if you've picked up some rookie that's only going to play 5 or 6 games for the year, he might be gone. Yeah. And then you're stuck. You've got to make another trade, and you're burning up your trades, and before you know it, they're gone.
You also need to have a look at their age too, and this is where the book. Sorry to shoot off screen there for a second. I bet you missed me there for a second, but you had to look at Chris. But if you got this one and you've got some stats that you can get hold of, have a look, because if there's some 18-year-olds there, you might want to look at starting to sort of trade some of those soon in the next few weeks. But if you've got, like, say, a Tim Moore, who's a pretty hardened sort of player, been in the VFL for a couple of years, then he might be Horsley. He might be and Magna. He might be more likely to keep him for the year.
All right, good.
All right, let's work through a little segment we just made up, and it's called Player Watch. So kick it off, Chris. Just whiz through a few that we can look at.
These are, if you're upgrading or sideways for an injury only, these are some of the guys you should be looking at, and we'll probably cover these in a blog Bush will be up in the next couple of days with a few more extras as well. In the backs, Alex Rance. I put him in the blog last week and he didn't let me down again. He's averaging 101, only cost $4.70. He's only been under 90 points once this year. He just keeps producing, so have a real good look at him. In the midfield, there's a heap of them. Scott Selwood having an absolute belter of a year. 125 average, still cheap at $5.57. He's going to be above 600 soon, so you might want to get him now. And Sam Mitchell, 536 grand, averaging 110. He does that year in, year out. Super value, super consistent. Have a big look at him in the midfield. In the rucks, not a heap, but big Hamish McIntosh. Yeah. He's got rid of Goldstein.
He has.
He's averaging 107. He's still costs $4.94. If you need a ruckman, he's the one to be looking at.
Rucks have been tough this year, haven't they?
They are, but he's a ripper. And
there's been some injuries.
He's playing well.
Tell you another ruckman who's coming along, but you wouldn't put him in yet, Bell Chambers. Now, he's going to get affected by David Hill coming back at some stage, but he's going along well with Paddy Ryder wrestling him. Yeah.
And in the forwards, we've already mentioned him, Steele Sidebottom, having a 105 average year, 513, spending a lot of time in the midfield. He's a ripper. Your man, who put him in this week? Chris P. Stevie Johnson, 440 grand, pulled out 169, magnificent points for this bloke. Still a low average, hence the low price. He's going to be inconsistent, but his average will probably be pretty good.
As I mentioned on the Supercoach show on Foxtel, he actually put himself in his own Supercoach team last week.
So there's
a hint for you. Get on board.
And the last one is Dustin Martin. All banging on about him pre-season. Had an average start to the year, but that means his price has dropped to $455k. He's averaging 85. His last two games have been 112 and 92. His last 3 game average is 94. At $455, get on board. Righto, we are into the lookalike segment, and it's a historic day for the Supercoach Dr. Chris, because we have our first ever viewer sent in lookalike.
And they've got
2 lookalikes, one each.
A lot of effort too, so thank you very much for sending those in.
Thank you very much to, I hope we get this right, Burke Bakichi. He's been very active on the Facebook page.
Good on you, Burke.
And he's put a lot of time with these.
Now, he's going in the top 1,000.
I think he is.
He's absolutely on fire.
He should be doing this. Now, we'll go with my lookalike first.
All right.
Now, we'll get it up here.
We'll introduce it. There it is on the screen right now. Not bad.
Robbie Williams. I'll take that. I'm happy with that. Can we see it? What do you reckon?
That's pretty good. That's well done. Well done, Bert.
That's not bad.
Okay, so what do you think he's come up with for me?
Well, he's come up with you.
Has he come up with a Tom Cruise or a Brad Pitt type thing?
Yeah, I think he's got pretty close.
Okay.
Now, not many people are going to know this bloke.
He's
apparently a New Zealand comedian.
Okay.
And his name is Levi Hawken.
Okay.
And here he is. Now, I reckon it's uncanny. I think it's uncanny. Get your hands away from
That's a bit hard. It's a bit harsh. Come on.
I tell you, if you lost a tooth, you wouldn't be able to split you two, I reckon.
Not all bald guys look the same. So that's ridiculous. But thank you very much. I think the last episode we discussed Juddy, and before that was Carl Pilkington, and I just thought, not too bad.
He's stepping up in the world a little bit.
And Burke stepped up and just gone whack. So I've got a bit of work to do.
That's a beauty.
All right, thank you very much. All right, and just before we go on to the next segment, we've got some artwork.
A second ever bit of artwork.
Yeah, we've got some artwork. This has been sent in by Dale. Dale. So there you go.
Was he your nephew? Is he? How old's Dale?
No, Dale's around 38. 40 years old. So thank you very much, Dale.
38.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So he's
got a lot of talent.
He's whipped that up, and
a lot of talent.
That's not too bad. So and Collingwood supporter too, you can tell. And
Okay.
So thanks for that, and keep them coming.
I love it.
All right. What have we got?
Just before we get to the Supercoach Super Tip.
All right. Just before the Supercoach Super Tip, I just want to ask you about one thing, just for the viewers out there. Yep. Tell us about your Heath Shaw move.
Well, Heath Shaw. Now, a lot of people just react very quickly to injuries. And I put something up in a blog on Facebook a few weeks ago about what you should do with an injury. Now, one of them was a 1 to 3 week injury. I think you should keep them. Now, Heath Shaw's a classic example, and a lot of players are in this similar situation. Some of them are even suspended. If they're out for 2 or 3 weeks with a hammy or who knows, whatever, I kept him. And it hurt me for 2 weeks.
So you had him on the bench.
I lost a couple of league games.
You lost a couple of games?
but I didn't burn a trade, and he slipped him back into the team this week.
You've
Pulls
kept
out
your
at
trades,
120.
and yeah.
So it just goes to show you, don't just jump on every single injury you get in your team and chuck the player out. Stick by them if it's only a short-term injury, because there's going to be a lot of them you're going to need your trade.
Exactly right. You just keep burning through your trades otherwise. So you got 120. Now, one of the things that could have happened is you could have got Nathan Bock in for Heaps,
wasn't it?
and he's broken his leg and he's gone for a long, long time, and then you're doing another trade, and you probably would have tried to bring Heaps back in.
Exactly. Only do it when you really need to. Now,
all right, let's get on with it. Super Coach, Super Tip.
Right, it's back. The Super Coach Super Tip.
What have you got?
I'm actually going to call it for this week the Super Coach Super Tippet.
Jeez, innovative.
Now, we went with this earlier in the year, and I told everybody not to get Kurt Tippett, and it was looking like a pretty bad call.
Yep.
But this is what he does.
Do you know anyone that's got him in?
Got him in 2 weeks ago.
And what
this
happened?
man.
And what
has he had since then? 65 and 42. This is what I spoke about in the pre-season. This is what he does. He lures you in.
Episode 4.
He lures you in with these cheeky big scores, and then bang, he goes and pulls out the shockers.
What
and
should
that's
I
what
have
he's
done?
doing
Should
now.
have got Dangerfield. For the same money.
Exactly. He didn't listen to the Super Coach Super Tip. If you've got Kurt Tippett, bad luck. You should have listened to me in the pre-season.
All right. Well, last time you said that he called out 140s and 150s, so we're hoping that that kicks in again next week.
Yeah,
Just
well,
here we
I
go.
don't think so.
He got one kick on the weekend. It's a disgrace.
One kick.
One kick.
Christ.
Or something like that. Anyway, that's
It's
it.
terrible. Hey,
Thank you.
we done?
Yeah, we're done.
All right, excellent. We'll see you soon. Hopefully not a big break in between. Because, believe it or not, we actually, he works. I sort of work. And sometimes we've got, things to do.
Yeah.
We're busy. We're busy men. You'd probably cut that bit out, but anyway. See you later.
All right.